for his own departure in that desolate place with his only young daughter with him. Alas! The last day of Abu Dar's life approached in that desolate place. He was in prayers and his daughter was restless and anxious in view of her father's condition and approaching end. There was no man, not even an animal in sight. The moment was near for the angel of death to come, for the humanity to cry, and for the daughter to be deprived of her father's love. She had not only seen but was still observing the helplessness of her father for whose love she became emotional again and again. We here reproduce the tragic story of Abu Dar's death as related by his daughter, in the light of Majlisi's writing. She says, "We were passing our days with untold sufferings in the wilderness. It so happened one day that we could not get anything to eat. We kept on searching round the jungle but could not find anything. My ailing father said to me, 'Daughter, why are you so much worried today?' I said, 'Dad, I am extremely hungry and weakness has overtaken you also on account of intense hunger. I have tried my utmost to get something to eat but could not find anything so that I might feel honored before you.' Abu Dar said, 'Do not be worried. Allah is the great disposer of our affairs.' I said, 'Dad, this is correct but there is nothing in sight for the fulfillment of our needs.' He said, 'Daughter, hold me by the shoulder and take me to such and such direction. Perhaps we may find something there.' I held him by the hand and started in the direction he had asked me to go. On the way my father asked me to make him sit on the ground. I seated him on the hot sand. He gathered some sand and lay down with his head upon it. As soon as he lay down on the ground, his eyes began to revolve, and he got into the agony of death. Seeing this I started crying hoarsely. Then keeping control over himself he said, 'Why do you cry, daughter?' I said, 'What else shall I do, then father? It is a desert and not a single man is seen here. I do not have a shroud for you and there is no gravedigger here. What will I do if you breathe your last in this desolate place?' He wept at my helplessness and said, 'My daughter, don't be worried. That friend of mine in whose love, and in whose children's love I tolerated all these hardships had informed me of this event in advance. Listen, oh my dear daughter.' He had told before a group of his companions at the Battle of Tabuk that one of them would die in a desert and a party of companions would go for his funeral and burial. Now, none of them is alive except me. All of them have died in populated places. Only I am left over and in a desolate wilderness. I have never seen such a desert land where I am lying in the agony of death. My sweet daughter, when I die cover me with my cloak and sit down on the way leading to Iraq. A party of believers will pass by that way. Tell them that Abu Dar, the companion of the Prophet, has breathed his last. Hence please arrange his burial.' He was talking to me when the angel of death looked at his face. When my father looked at him his face flushed and he said, 'O the angel of death, where have you been up till now? I have been waiting for you. O my friend, you have come in the hour of my great need. O the angel of death, may that man who is not happy to see you never get deliverance. For Allah's sake take me soon to the most merciful Allah so that I may be relieved of the hardships of the world.' After that, he addressed Allah and said, 'O my nourisher, I swear by your being, and you know that I speak the truth that I never abominated death and always wished to meet you.' After that the sweat of death appeared on the forehead of my father and looking at me, he turned his face away from the world forever. We are for Allah and to him we shall return." The daughter of Abu Dar continued, "When my father died, I ran crying to that path which led to Iraq. I was sitting there waiting for the coming party. Suddenly it occurred to me that the dead body of my father was lying alone. So, I ran up to the dead body. Again, I came back to the side of the path lest the party should pass by, and I might not inform it. Thus, I came and went several times. Now suddenly I saw some people coming on camels. When they drew near, I went towards them with tears in my eyes and said to them, 'O companions of the Prophet, a companion of the Prophet has died.' They asked me who he was. I replied, 'My father, Abu Dar Ghifari.' As soon as they heard it, they got down from the camels and accompanied me weeping. When they reached the place, they cried and were very much shocked at his sad demise and busied themselves with his funeral rites. The historian Otham Kufi states that the party, which was going to Iraq comprised Anaf ibn Qays, Tamim, Saysha ibn Sauhan al-Abdi, Kharija ibn Salat Tamimi, Abdullah ibn Muslima Tamimi, Halal, ibn Malik Nazil, Jarir ibn Abdullah Bahali, Malik ibn Ashtar ibn Harith etc. These people at once washed Abu Dar and arranged for his shrouding. After the burial, Malik ibn Ashtar, standing by the side of the grave, delivered a speech that referred to Abu Dar's affairs and a supplication about him. After the praise of the Almighty Allah, he said, O Allah, Abu Dar was a companion of your Prophet and a believer in your books and your prophets. He fought very bravely in your way, remained steadfast to your Islamic laws and never changed or distorted any of your commands. O my Lord, seeing some contraventions of the book and the tradition, he raised his voice and drew the attention of those responsible for the Ummah towards making improvements, because of which they tortured him, drove him from place to place, humiliated him, turned him out of the country of your dear Prophet and put him to extreme hardships. At last, he breathed his last in a state of utter loneliness in a deserted place. O Allah, grant Abu Dar a big portion of those heavenly blessings which you have promised for the believers, and take revenge on one who has banished him from Medina and give him full deserved punishment. Malik Ashtar prayed for Abu Dar in his speech, and all those who were present there said, Amin, may it be so. Anyway, when they had finished with the funeral ceremonies, it was evening and they stayed there overnight. They set off the next morning. 52 After Abu Dar's burial, these people left Rabza, but his daughter stayed there according to his will. After some days, Caliph Uthman called her and sent her home. 53 Abu Dar's daughter was however still near her father's grave at Rabza with a mind to stay there for a few days more, when one night she saw Abu Dar in her dreams sitting and reciting the Holy Quran. She said, Dad, what happened to you, and to what extent have you been blessed by the merciful Allah? He said, O my daughter, Allah has bestowed on me limitless favor, has given me every comfort and granted me everything. I am very happy with His generosity. It is your duty to be busy in the worship of Allah as usual, and not to let any kind of pride and haughtiness come to you. 54 Scholars and historians are unanimous that he died on 8th Zilhajjah, 32 AH at Rabza. His age at the time of his death was 85 years. Having suffered continuous oppressions, constant tortures, and hardships of the successive exiles at the hands of the worldly-minded men, Abu Dar left this transient world at Rabza, but the story of his love for Allah is still living and will last forever. History is replete with examples. Truthfulness and his straightforward and honest speeches are resounding in the hearts of the believers. He is still alive, through his character even after his death, and he will remain immortal through the principles he held so dear. The world knows that he died in the way of Allah. He suffered troubles and hardships in support of truth, and in establishing and propagating the principles of Islam in the Islamic government. But it is a pity that the tyrant does not repent of his tyranny. We reproduce this incident here in the word of the translator of the history written by Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Otham Kufi, a historian of the 3rd century Hijri. He writes, when the news of Abu Dar's death reached Uthman, Ammar ibn Yasir was present there. Ammar said, May Allah have His mercy upon Abu Dar. Allah, bear witness that we pray for mercy for him with all our heart and soul. O Allah, forgive him. As soon as the caliph heard it, he lost his temper and said, O fool! You will meet the same fate. Listen to me. I don't feel ashamed on account of the exile of Abu Dar and his death in the wilderness. Ammar said, By Allah, this will not be my end. Hearing this, the caliph ordered his courtiers, push him out, banish him from Medina and send him to the same place where Abu Dar had been sent. Let him also lead the same life and don't let him come to Medina as long as I am alive. Ammar said, By Allah, I prefer the vicinity of wolves and dogs to my stay near you. After that he rose from there and came back to his house. When the caliph decided to send Ammar to Rabza and the news reached the tribe of Bani Makhzum, they flew into a rage. They said among themselves that Uthman had crossed the bounds of decency. After that they held a council and thought that it would be better if before taking any step this matter is settled by compromise. With this aim in view, they came to Ali. Ali asked them, Why have all of you come at this time? They said, A serious problem is facing us. the Caliph has decided to banish Ammar from Medina too. Rabza, be kind enough to go to the Caliph and persuade him in suitable words to leave Ammar alone. And not to banish him from the city, otherwise such a disturbance will stir as would hardly be quelled. Imam Ali listened to them, consoled them and asked them not to make haste. He told them, I'll go to the Caliph and will try to settle the matter. I am sure it will be settled amicably. I am fully conscious of the situation. I'll bring him round to your viewpoint. After this Ali went to Caliph Uthman and said, O Uthman, you are too hasty in some matters and ignore the suggestions of friends and advisors. Once you turned Abu Dar out of Medina. He was a very virtuous Muslim, a dignified companion of the Prophet of Allah and the best of immigrants. You sent him to Rabza where the poor fellow died in solitude. On account of this incident, the Muslims have obviously one who curses the brother of the Holy Prophet the husband of Fatima, the commander of the faithful, Ali ibn Abi Talib, and who orders others to do it is definitely damned. This fact has been recorded by all the Sunni ulema in their authentic books, and they too have, in slightly different words, reported that the Prophet said, one who reviles Ali, really reviles me, who reviles me, really reviles Allah. Dailami in his Firdaus, Sulaiman Hanafi and Yanabi al-Mawata have reported that the Prophet said, one who gives pain to Ali, really gives pain to me, and the curse of Allah is upon him who causes pain to me. Ibn Hajar Maki in his Sawa'iq narrates a hadith concerning the consequence to one who curses against any of the progeny of the Prophet He reports that the Prophet said, if anyone curses my al-bayt, there is nothing for him but exclusion from Islam. If anyone injures me concerning my al-bayt, may Allah's curse be upon him. Therefore, Muawiyah was certainly cursed. As reported by Ibn Athir in his Kamil, Muawiyah used to curse Ali, the grandsons of the Holy Prophet, Hassan and Husayn, and also Abbas and Malik Ashtar in the Kunut of his daily prayers. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal reports in his Musnad from a number of sources that the Holy Prophet of Allah said, if anyone injures Ali he shall be treated as a Jew or Christian on the Day of Judgment. Certainly, you must know that it is one of the tenets of Islam that to call Allah and the Holy Prophet by ill names leads to infidelity. Muhammad ibn Ganji Shafi'i in his Kifayatut Talib, Part 10, reports that once Abdullah ibn Abbas and Sayyid ibn Habir saw on the brink of Zamzam a group of Syrians railing at Ali. They went to them and said, who among you was abusing the Holy Prophet of Allah? They replied, none of us was abusing the Holy Prophet of Allah. Then they said, well, who among you was abusing Ali?